Hey everyone, today we are pulling up on the logging intersection, Beaver Swamp, for the first time of the year. It's now the beginning of May 2025. We attempted to make a trip out here in April. This logging road was completely closed for mud season or because the road was completely damaged. There's excavators along this road on the way in. It's pretty damaged, pretty bumpy, very rough. There's some areas that are down to literally one lane. You wouldn't be able to pass anyone. The erosion is so bad. We will show the road on the way out in those bad conditions. I just turned around. We have a clog coming up. It's going to be a double blockage. We've done this one before. I prefer to do it this time of year before the grass starts growing really high. The leaves are just starting to grow on the trees. In fact, this year in Maine, the trees are growing about a month early. Last year, we couldn't even plant our garden until June. I started the garden already the first week of May, and I don't think we're gonna have a frost, to be honest with you. You already see the leaves starting to grow in. If it was last year, 2024, this is what it would have looked like the first week of June. Everything's starting really nicely. So a little back knowledge, we've done this one many times. When we unclog this is not a primary beaver pond, so even if it was winter, we wouldn't have to feel bad about it. It doesn't affect the beavers in any way. Beavers will create multiple ponds they don't even live at for water storage. They're the water savers of the environment. That's why they're a beneficial animal. They create ponds to prevent drought. They also have empty ponds after a drought that prevent flood, but sometimes they cause major issues to roadways. Their actual beaver pond where they live is upstream a couple hundred feet. So there's times they'll clog it up within hours. There's been times they'll wait a month before they clog it up because it's not a priority to them and they don't check it every single day. I'm seeing moose tracks here in the middle of the road. I also wouldn't want to get too close to the left side of the road. It's pretty eroded right there. Very sandy, this area. And here we are. We're already driving by floodwaters. Extremely flooded here. That's one of my ribbons that I hung up, because there was a giant hole right here from like a groundhog last year that somebody could have broke a ball joint in. So here's the logging intersection. We can turn right, we can turn left, we can go forward, but forward and left are basically the same thing. We're gonna occupy that space, get the big high boots on, get the rake, get camera number 2, and let's get on out there. So when they actively log, they will likely open this part back up for really big log trucks that can't make the corner. But we can just park right here in the middle. They're not actively logging this area. They have not actually I have not seen a logging truck on this area in over 2 years. And they are supposedly not logging it again this year. So this area is not really being maintained. They don't really care about this area. It's gone into disrepair. Well, I shouldn't say that. The maintenance isn't as good. They are repairing it, keeping it passable, but they're not keeping it passable to the expectations of a log truck. Let's get out and take a look. After we take a look, we will go ahead and get the big high boots on. We've had a lot of rain right now after early spring. So this year, we have had less flooding than I have ever seen in my life. Usually when we're out on the logging roads, left and right, we'll be closing and blocking roads with road close signs. This year, I haven't found a single road I wasn't able to drive down. It's amazing. It's because this year, the spring flooding actually waited until the snow was gone. We're starting to get a lot of rain right now, but guess what? The ground is no longer frozen. It's absorbing it, and there's very little issues this year. We've got some unblockings, of course, but nothing like the average year. So last year was a pretty bad year because we had tons of snow melting, the ground was frozen, and it was raining a ton all at the same time. All the rivers hit major flood stage. This year, during the spring thaw, minor flood stage a couple times, no big issue. I do believe some of the rivers have been cresting to a higher flood level, but that has nothing to do with the spring thaw. It's just the rain. Now this area here, there are so many tadpoles. There's probably hundreds, or I don't know, I shouldn't have said that. There's tens of thousands basically in here every single year. It dries up sometimes, it becomes bird food or food for other frogs as it concentrates them into an easier area for them to pick off. But you know, that's nature. At least they are going to feed something if that puddle's not there long enough for them to turn into a frog and be able to leave. Lots of moose tracks around here, extremely sandy. These areas can wash out pretty fast if the rain is bad. But this year flooding hasn't been super bad. This has been an issue for so many years. I'm surprised they never relocated them. So on the drive in, what I was discussing is this is a secondary beaver pond. They don't live here. They just do water storage. So there's a culvert pipe here we're going to unclog. Most of this pile's from me. Most of this pile's from me. We unclogged this last year, and I made a comment that that would be a good piece of wood for like a reptile cage. Now someone else has also been contributing to this pile. Can't take credit for it all. Sometimes someone else gets it. Beats us to it. And there's another culvert pipe right over here that we will unclog after that one. The one up there is secondary flow pipe, which means if this one's blocked or over capacity, it starts running. But in normal circumstances, this is the only pipe that should be running. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where it is right now. Yep, you see the grass hasn't got high. This grass will get almost as tall as me, and you can barely see the blast of water when we unclog it in the winter. So this is a really nice heavy-duty cast iron pipe. The end of it's actually shattered a little bit because cast iron's brittle. It doesn't bend when they used an excavator to get it. So it's somewhere right around there. That's their marker, that pole right there. It used to be taller, but the excavator hit it. Once we unclog this, while we're waiting for it to draw down a little bit, we'll take a walk up there, look at their primary beaver pond before the leaves completely grow in. You'll be able to get a better view. And what's weird is there's another road like this above their primary pond. There's been evidence they've clogged it before, but I've been coming out here 4 years and I have never ever seen that pipe blocked. But yet it's closer to their home. But yet they don't block that. Instead, they block the road that's actually used and active. But yet there's an abandoned old road up there with culvert pipes that they don't touch. It amazes me. But we'll 100% get this water right here off the road. Let's go get the big high boots on. And here's where the other pipe's coming out. That's just a typical, regular old corrugated metal pipe. Nice and quiet and peaceful out here. I doubt we'll see another vehicle. It's a lot of rain in the forecast, which will keep people away, and the road coming in here was so treacherous. Only an off-road enthusiast would probably come out here until they fix it. So there's the rake. There's a big high boots. Let's get on out. Okay, we have a bit of a problem. Okay, got to get my bug spray. I have a swarm of mosquitoes following me right now. Can you see all the bugs around my head right now? Half of them are mosquitoes. Half of them are black flies. The black flies usually don't bite me, but about a week ago I had an incident where they were biting me. So I gotta put a ton of this stuff on, even in the air. Get it out of here. They should go away now, but I got bit by a couple of mosquitoes. Time to get the big high boots on. Let's see, are they wet? Because we just drove through like an hour of rain. Nope, they're still dry. I guess I put them in there properly. Can you see? These things are still buzzing around my head. All that bug spray, they're still around me. Even landing on my face. Now let's try to get this one done. Zero effect on the bugs. Put the boots on their side in case it rains again. We got the rake. Camera number 2. Here we go. Always make sure the lens isn't smudged. Let's get on out there. I still have a swarm of a couple dozen black flies following me, despite my hat being covered in bug spray. This is actually the first time I've had them still follow me. Usually it's deer flies or horse flies. You can put anything on yourself and they don't care. They'll keep going after you. But they're being annoying. At least the mosquitoes, which are actually biting me, went away. The black flies, they do bite. People have told me for years they bite, and I never believed them because I've never personally got bit by them. In my experience, they don't bite. They just annoy you, fly around your head, and sometimes go in your eyes. But last week, I confirmed, got bit by a bunch of them. But today, they don't seem to be biting me. All right, we got camera number 2. Straighten it out. Oh, wow, that's actually a great view. But I want to put it over here because that's better for a split screen. Camera number 2 is going. Camera alignment noise. Come over here. And look at that. We have fresh beaver material floating on the surface of the water. In fact, when I was driving there, it's everywhere. They have so much material to start building again. And look, there's strawberry plants everywhere. That's what's on the ground there. Is this the location that also has chocolate mint? Yep, chocolate mint is a real thing. Some people don't believe me. Go to your local Home Depot. They have chocolate mint. It's invasive, but it smells amazing when it grows into your lawn. All right, let's find that pipe. Figure out where it is. This is usually a hard one to get open. But once you get it open a little, it's usually not that hard. I hear water trickling over there like it's going around it. Always a little tricky getting this location to start up. Come on out. I don't know if that's the pipe I'm seeing, where the water's falling. This is gonna be a dirty one. It doesn't really matter where you throw the stuff. The beavers have so much material. This is for water drawdown purposes only. They'll clog it back up in an hour if they want. Ah, right on me. Flies. I think this is in it. Yep, that was in it. Water pressure here is strong. And this mud is like peanut butter. These flies are annoying. Let's try to plunge it. Does that work? Or is there too many sticks in there? Ah, the rake broke. Now I only have 3 forks. These beavers really want me to work for this one. Never fails. This is always a hard one. They got something big in there. Ooh. That is actually so cool. I kind of want to keep that. If it stays together nicely, I'm keeping that. Oh my gosh, this is a bad one. I'm afraid to break this further. I guess I gotta use my hands, figure out what is in here. Ah, these flies. Is that the pipe? Because where the water's going, that's not the pipe. It's diverting through the dam somewhere, showing me false places. Water's pretty deep. Why don't I get higher boots? Because you shouldn't be in water that deep. It's too dangerous with a pipe sucking. But I do feel like we just improved it a little bit, because I think I finally found the end of it. This has been like this a while. Okay, we're getting it now. We're starting current. Okay, we gotta go over this way a little bit more. I think we're getting somewhere. There's still some big stuff I can't budge. I'm trying not to fall back in the water. This is a back-breaking one. What am I stuck to? I got it with my hand. It's not coming. Guess we'll try to push it the other way. Ooh, it's heavy. There's something stuck in there. Now it's got my rake, I can't pull it. Can't get it out. I literally can't get the rake out, can't twist it. Literally the rake is stuck. I don't know how. I got it. Try to break up some beaver dam foundation. All right, we're touching the bottom of the pipe. If it looks like it needs more, when it starts dropping, we'll do more. Doing pretty good. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. We got it flowing a ton. Got a big whirlpool. Usually when I say it's gonna be an easy one, it's gonna be a hard one. But I guess saying it's going to be a hard one makes it an extremely hard one. My boots are slightly damp now. Here's what the other side looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Okay, let's move down the road. Let's hope this one is better. Alrighty everyone, camera number 2 is going. Alright, let's give this a shot. Just the one we just opened, that'll get it off the road, but this is the primary flow pipe, which also is not quite as big, or maybe it's equal size. Let's find the end of it. Now this one I like to find the pipe itself and move over to the end of it. Let's tap around. Got it? Here's the end of it. Pipe. Here it is. Here's the end of it. So we're gonna start excavating a little bit and try to poke a hole through it. This one, it has a smooth wall, so it's easy to get it flowing. Don't say easy. Try the other end. It's going right through it like butter, the other end. It's those pesky cross sticks. This one usually opens up suddenly because it's a smooth pipe. Ah, something's happening. I wish I could pry with this. All these pesky cross members are what's causing this. Another one. Now I'm just hitting excavator damage. Almost there. Hey, the water's almost stopped going across the road. We're expecting a lot of rain in the next day or two, so it's important to get these open before the road suffers more damage. Got a whirlpool. I hear tree frogs also. Oh yeah, we got another stick. It broke. There's another one. All right, we're just hitting the bottom of the pipe now. We're all set. Wow, the other side is blasting. But first, look at that amazing whirlpool we got there. Ah, it's gone for a moment. It's gonna come back. Here we go. Nice. Those are all tree frogs you hear in the back. Spring peeper frogs. I didn't even notice the bugs bothering me, but now that I'm back up here, they're everywhere. I'm sniffing around some plants. Yep, this is the spot. We got mint. Yep, it's the chocolate mint. It literally smells like chocolate. It's a perennial, it's invasive, and you can buy it at the store. That's a pretty looking whirlpool, look at that. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. That is so satisfying. You see those clumps coming over? That's concentrated pollen. That's pollen right there. Yeah, that mint is all over the ground here. Take a look. All that in there, it's all mint. It smells amazing. Look at that water go. That is looking great. It's even sucking air in. Look at the end of the pipe. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Pretty big improvement. We'll go for a walk and show you the beaver swamp as I promised. And there's more debris that we've had to get out of there because in the past, this used to be more abundant. I don't know if the beavers are actually slowing down or what, but we were out here sometimes every other week. And so much debris we were sending through was kind of creating a debris blockage. So we had to get the rake out, push it there. We had to shove it up there, get it out of the way. And I find this is really interesting. See the bubbles right there coming out? Come on, focus in. There we go. See all the bubbles coming out? Like a fish tank bubbler, creating all these nice foamy bubbles. The foamy bubbles are caused by organic material, whether it's oil in the water, debris breaking down from plants or poo. That's what causes that. It's all natural. So the bubbles you're seeing is the air that this whirlpool is taking in. When that whirlpool sucks down air, that is where those bubbles are coming from. It's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna leave the big high boots on because we might find other areas like this. I did not flood them, I just got them slightly damp from splashing. Now, notice the road is clearing up. That should completely stop flowing by the time we leave. Because we're gonna take like a half an hour and just walk around the area, see how everything's doing. This is so cool. This is going in my garden. Look at that little teeny piece right here. It's firmly holding that. It's not even bending or anything. That is so cool. Should I like bury the bottom bit in the garden with this thing just sticking straight up like that? That'll last a couple years before it rots through. Or should I have it like a decoration on the wall in like the wood stove room? It's pretty cool. I had another one like that that I've brought home. I have in the kitchen hanging up like a decoration. This is all strawberries. All wild strawberries. Wild strawberries get to be the size of a small raspberry, but they're very sweet and delicious. I don't fertilize or weed kill my lawn, so I have that stuff absolutely everywhere. And look, we got a frog. Got a frog. Usually I have so many frogs at my house. There's another one swimming away. But this year I don't have that many frogs. There's more frogs here than I have because in my yard we always rescue them from drainage ditches, like the egg sacs in areas I know are gonna dry up. Bring them home, and this year we don't have that many because nature took its course. We got more snakes and stuff. Now this is kind of cool. This always happens. That's the egg sac. They have already hatched. But now the empty eggshells, which are clear, are acting like greenhouses, so it becomes a big algae ball, and eventually maybe a moss ball floating around. It's actually really, really cool. I'm walking through this water now. Look, there's even more egg sacs that are starting to green up. In fact, that couple of them, the ones that have a white center, those are tadpoles that didn't make it. They died in the egg for who knows what reason. Oftentimes, they'll lay eggs and the surface of the water might go through a deep freeze again, or even the eggs towards the top, if they're slightly out of the water, a deep freeze will shock them enough where that happens. But yeah, there's tadpoles everywhere. It's looking like a rainy year. It also doesn't seem like it's gonna be super duper hot. I don't know yet. But it was a pretty cold winter. Usually that would be followed by a very hot summer, but we had some abnormally hot days last week. But this week we're not getting out of the lower 50s or around 12 Celsius. I came over because I wanted to see this. I couldn't tell from a distance. Did a human walk up here? Nope, it was a moose walking down. Those are moose tracks. Moose are big animals. Full-grown one can be 8 feet tall, or sometimes 1,800 pounds is like the biggest they can get. They're a big, scary animal that you don't want to have mad at you. I've never had one go after me or anything like that. I had one turn around and walk towards my vehicle a few feet, but then it got scared and decided, nope, I'm turning around again. I also had one when I was out on foot with a baby. It was pretty far away. Put its head low to the ground and started scraping its legs. And like this, like it's about to charge. That's how they threaten you. And when you see that, you go the other way. Don't mess with them. So this is the beaver swamp here that we're slowly draining. Pretty big area. It takes hours to show substantial difference. Here's where we just walked up. We got a good vantage point up here. Really good view. The ATVs love coming here around the summer months. Don't see any fresh tracks. No one's been here yet. They love the water. They love the sandy hills. Great place for ATVs. But most people, I guess, don't want to drive down the really bad road. And ATVs are technically not allowed on the logging roads unless they're abandoned. These are not abandoned. They're just not being used, but they're being maintained. So they're not supposed to drive down them. That's why no one's been here yet, because the roads aren't in great shape to pull a trailer. So when I was driving in, I mentioned I had to flag something. I'm the one who jammed this stick right here with the flag. That was like a muskrat. No, not a muskrat. A groundhog hole. That was pretty big. You could have got your wheel stuck in that. That's why I marked it. This is beavers. Bark is their main source of food. And you see, this is super fresh. You see, they are maintaining this road. That was opened up. That fell down. Beavers girdled that tree. It's not completely dead, but it's barely growing leaves right there. It's gonna die once the summer heat starts. It's called girdling a tree. I've never personally done it, but it's an interesting idea. So if you want dry firewood, you cut the bark off the bottom of a tree. It slowly kills it, keeping it standing so the wood completely dries. For when you cut it down, the tree will basically shatter as it hits the ground. I've seen guys do that. Here's the problem that I have with that. It will dull your chainsaw blade cutting dead wood. So if you have the option to cut it up before it's dry, I'd rather do that. See, excavator's been down here. Okay, so this is still the same beaver pond backed up into here. But now, without the leaves on the trees fully yet, you can see there's like a 4-foot tall beaver dam in here. We're gonna go up closer to it, if you can see that. Much higher up pond, that's where they live. Now down here, endless supply of building material. That's all these smaller trees growing in the water are willow trees. Willow trees need a lot of water to survive, but they will not start growing in the water. They can withstand being flooded for a long time, unlike most trees, before they die, but they will eventually die being in the water. But that's the beaver's favorite food. They're not going anywhere. Okay, here we are. Got a good view. This is where the beavers actually live. And the pond here that they actually live in got a lot of pollen. Look at all that yellowness right there. That's actually pretty. This is where they actually live. You can see lots of fresh material there along the dam. Grass growing on the dam. They've been here a very long time. Let's try to go out there and up to the dam. Perfect spot for a dam. See, there's a bottleneck in the old river valley. Lots of beaver chewed material. Crouching down, going through this. This is last season. That's not super bright. But look at that. They got another cool looking thing here. Wait a second, I'm gonna put you down for a moment. Pull that out. Oh, it's still attached. There, it's still attached a little. See? I can rip that off. That's still attached, but here's another pretty interesting shape beaver art right there. See? And look, there's another one. That's their food. That's why they're stripping the bark. Once they strip it, eat what they want, it becomes part of the dam. I'm squeezing through these narrow gaps in the trees. So this is their actual dam. It's about 4 feet tall. Very nice, deep, secluded pond. The lodge is up there. They like to have lodges in the cover. We'll go up there in a minute and try to get a view of that. Notice how all the willow trees that are in the water, you see, they are budding. They're gonna grow leaves, but they're so far behind the ones down here growing leaves. It's because they're flooded, they're weakened. They're eventually gonna die. I think they're gonna grow leaves, but they're gonna die. But the beavers will eat them, so that's good. Oh, look at that. Look what we just found in the water. Should I take that home as a garden decoration? That is a moose skull. There's a moose skull and mosquitoes landing on me because the water got the bug spray off. Okay, we're gonna make some room for ourselves because I can't even get in there. Beavers are gonna be angry about our activities here. But they're mostly nocturnal. They're probably not even out right now. That is a moose skull. I think it's too big to be a deer. Perfect stick maybe for grabbing that. Put it right in the nostril hole. Ooh. It's a bit deteriorated, but that is cool to put in a garden, right? We got ourselves a moose skull. Honestly, that's calcium right there, so I bring that home. Something like a squirrel's probably gonna eat it, but that's okay. That's actually kind of cool to have. Look at that. Look at it. It's got teeth. So it's only part of the skull. It's the upper jaw section. Yeah, we're gonna take that with us. That's pretty cool. I don't need this piece. I don't want that. That's not special. I don't want that one. That's not really special either. But moose skull, I'm gonna take that home. You know, that thing's been in the water so long, it doesn't stink or anything. It's just slimy, so I'm using a stick. When I was a kid, the campground I used to go to had moose skulls with antlers still attached to them, hanging on some of the cabins and stuff. It was pretty cool. Okay. Just gonna put it down right there. I'll grab that on the way back. And that's pretty cool. Okay, now we're gonna take a little walk further up this road because I want to show you possibly their beaver lodge and possibly up here the next road that they don't seem to mess with. I need the exercise. I'm gonna walk. Been spending a lot of time in the truck driving out to these places. So we're going up a hill now. We're gonna take a left, dive back down into the Beaver Valley, and that's where we should find a couple more culvert pipes. We haven't gone up to these in a while. It's an abandoned road, so it doesn't matter too much. Very fresh moose tracks everywhere because it rained this morning. That's a frost heave right here that never fixed itself. Usually frost heaves will reside by themselves. Not always. The ground's definitely not frozen anymore. It's been so warm. No more floods related to ground not being able to absorb. A lot of anthills. And here we are, the abandoned road to the left. And it's gonna be right here. Not too far. And look at all the strawberry plants. It's gonna be delicious in another month when we come back out here. But the moose and bear will probably beat us to it. They don't have fingers, so they just eat the entire plant with it. This road's even blocked. Yeah, this is definitely abandoned. Look how narrow that gets. No one's coming down here with this paint scrape job unless they're on an ATV. Maybe. I don't know. Oh yes, they finally clogged an area that don't matter. We were up here 2 years ago. Oh, wow. That's a ton of stuff. That's a whole ton of stuff blocking this culvert pipe. What are we even dealing with for a pipe? When I'm out in the woods like this, I almost never get ticks on myself. That's a beaver trail. But at my house, I've got a few ticks on me this year. Look at all the debris even in there from the last unclogging. We've never unclogged this one. That had to have been hit by the excavator. Is that another pipe right there, or is that just seeping through the ground? Let's get down there. I kind of want to take a look. Yes, that's another pipe. I can see the mangled corrugation in there from the excavator hitting it. So they got two pipes here, both extremely blocked. I don't know when this in particular logging company intends on opening this up again, but beavers can have this one. This is not a maintained road. It's a temporary road that they would likely log in the middle of winter because of all the surrounding swamps, so the equipment doesn't get stuck. And they wouldn't even bother unclogging this. If the road is open and frozen, they're just going to come right through it. Come in here with a forestry head on an excavator, cut down all the trees lining the road, get in for a couple months, get out before the spring thaw, and it's over. The logging companies try to prioritize these treacherous and flooded roads when it's super cold. Then they don't have to waste the money fixing them. They really only care about the roads that are open. But that right there is another secondary beaver pond. They do not live there. So if you drain it, they likely won't even notice it. If you drain that one, they would experience a sudden rise in their pond, and that might notify them of the issue. Because we've unclogged things. The beaver's on site checking us out 5 minutes later. They detect that water droppage immediately, and they respond going down to their dam, which is usually inside of a culvert. So, yeah, it's usually how it would be. It's kind of overgrown still, just the evergreen trees to figure out where the lodge is. It doesn't really matter though. I thought you could see it, but I guess not. Let's go grab that moose skull. Hopefully nothing rolling in the back of the truck smashes it, or just the vibrations of these horrible roads don't shatter it. That'll be interesting to throw in one of my gardens. I'll try to put it in the center of the spare tire. It'll kind of cradle it maybe. Maybe right here is where we can get a view. So this used to be a nice drainage ditch, kind of filled in with sand. And this is a water bar going off. Doesn't really seem like it functions, but maybe it'll give us a good view. I love tamarack trees. A pine tree that loses its needles and regrows them. More beaver activities. Yeah, let's go down through these trees, watching my eyes. Ooh, lots of beaver stuff in the water. Looking around. I don't see anything. I see on the other side a lot of things chewed, but I don't know where the lodge is. They usually build it with a lot of cover, so it's got to be in those bushes. And the mosquitoes are getting to me, so let's get out of here. I guess I lost track when I was telling you about the ticks. Out here, you never get ticks usually out in the middle of the woods because there's lots of turkeys and grouse birds that eat them. It's so rare when you get a tick out here. You could traipse through bushes all day. There's not a big chance of getting them. At my house, we haven't really had them. We had 1 year You could walk around. Ooh, a snake. There's a snake in there. See it? There's a snake. I don't think we have a chance of catching it, but yeah, we're too loud. Here it is. Zoom into it again. What kind of snake is that, everyone? Not entirely sure. Got a good view of its head there. But I was saying at my house, like 4 years ago, we had so many ticks. You walk around with white socks, you have a couple dozen in a couple minutes. But one day, a flock of turkeys walked through the yard. They hung out all day eating. Never saw one again for 3 years. So turkeys keep regularly coming back. This year I've had maybe half a dozen on me from my own yard. But I had a solution. I poured dry corn everywhere, and I think we solved the problem. The turkeys took another round. There we go, moose head. It's actually kind of cool too, the moose head on the stick. Ooh, that does smell, but it doesn't smell like a dead animal or a roadkill. It smells like dead snails or dead fish, just from being in the nasty pond. Ugh. Ooh, that does smell really, really bad when you get the right wind blowing towards you. I don't even know where I want to put this. This thing smells so bad. I guess we'll just put it right there in the corner. I don't want those juices rolling over near my boots or anything. I guess we'll keep the stick. So I'll have a good way of picking it up when I get home. Hopefully it doesn't get too damaged. We can be on these logging roads a couple days, rattling that thing around. But it shouldn't be too bad. I've actually been amazed how little things move around in the back here. All right, let's go check on everything. Water levels over here and stuff. So look at some of the beautiful trees. Got a lot of flowers out here. Lots of happy birds. I'm coming back over here because I want you to look at some of this awesome slime and pollen. Look at all that. Slime and pollen. And the stop sign has been the subject of target practice. You can see a line around the pond now forming. In only the past 25 minutes or so, dropped almost a foot of water. That means a lot of this stuff is going to be reduced. Now we can get a before and after shot of the road, completely drained. So here's the first one. Pipe is nicely open. Still got some beaver dam foundation, but you walk out there, it's pretty muddy, and they've got so much material, they're gonna clog it right back up. Beavers always seem to use fresh material. They never go ahead and grab from these piles and reuse. And the reason supposedly is they can smell themselves on it. They know they've used it before, and they believe in their head that it failed. They don't have the logic a human does. They don't understand that a flood or a failure couldn't have made it go up there. But they don't think that way. They think they have to use new stuff, and they think they have to build back stronger. That's why beaver dams get tougher and tougher. When a beaver's young, it creates blockages, but they're so easy to get rid of. An older beaver with better building experience creates disasters. The way they intertwine big sticks like a puzzle, it can be a disaster sometimes. Water levels have slowly reduced, but both of these pipes are still running close to capacity. Like this pipe here, it's still completely underwater, taking as much as it possibly can, but it's under a little bit less pressure, so it is flowing a little less. The road is no longer flooded. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Those puddles will eventually dry up or sink into the ground. The other one, Still got some suction action. That's kind of cool. The pole is the center of the whirlpool now at this point. And you can even see the water line still on that. So we lost about 8 inches. About to be a foot. By the time this drains, we will have drained it about 20 inches or so. Pretty nice. Good water reduction. And you saw how little it was trickling across the road. If we get this thing down completely and then the beavers come back, it's going to take a few days for it to even get back up to capacity where it would flood with or without the rain. It's always nice seeing that water line, bathtub ring around the pond. But we're doing good. It's a secondary pond. In the past, I've left cameras with magnetic mounts on that same thing, hoping to get footage of them returning. But it's so unreliable because it's a secondary pond. If this was primary, they'd be right over here tonight. Now, the interesting thing is, and this is all about luck, but I like to say when you put a trail camera up, usually what you expect doesn't happen. Sometimes something you never expected would happen. That's happened. So if I put a trail camera outside my tent or my truck when I'm camping, nothing usually happens. The nights I decide not to do it, oh, a bear tries to break in the truck. Another day we have wild boars sniffing around the tent. As soon as I put the camera out there, the boars don't return. It's all about luck. If the camera was there, those incidents probably wouldn't have happened. But yeah, we have a lot of mint here. This actually smells really, really good, this stuff here. Chocolate mint. I'm so tempted to just rip some out by the roots and bring it home. I'm gonna put that on the dashboard. That'll make the whole truck smell awesome. Hey, we got some mint. Got an air freshener. Yeah, I am tempted to take some of that stuff, but I don't have a shovel. And I'm gonna be out here a couple more days, so it'll probably die if I try to bring some home. But I know this week I've looked at Walmart, looked at the Home Depot. They usually sell chocolate mint. All they have is regular mint, and I kind of want to buy some. I don't know if that plant has cocoa in it or what it is. It does smell exactly like a chocolate mint. Pretty nice. And here we go. We're going down the road. I'll show you some of the bad looking sections. We're going over a bridge. That's where that water ends up. Look at this, everyone. This is one of the arch nemesis of the dirt roads. That's not from it raining. That's groundwater leaking out. In the winter time, that doesn't stop. It keeps freezing. It really can mess up the road. See that? It's coming right out of cracks in the road. Groundwater. We got a lot of bugs stuck to the windshield, so I'm really hoping it starts raining hard so I don't blow through a bunch of windshield fluid. And it doesn't bother me enough to get out there and scrub. But see this road here? It's not smooth. I'd rather have potholes than these abrupt rocks everywhere. But there's areas coming up that are super eroded. Look at this culvert here. This road must have been underwater. See those logs on the left? That all got smashed right there against the culvert because the water was that high. Yep, this road's really, really bad. And it's not treacherous, it's just bumpy, this section. You can tell they recently fixed it with the grader this year. But it's gonna take a lot of traffic to start getting this thing smooth. And look how green the trees are. Finally getting some leaves up here. And we're not in the northern part of the state. The northern part of the state still has bald forest. And probably still snow if you look hard enough. Really bumpy, but boom. You hit enough of those bumps at the same time, the shocks try to bounce you off the road. This isn't even the bad spot yet. We just went by an excavator with a ton of brand new galvanized I-beams. One of these culverts is about to get a bridge. All right, I think this is the section. You can't go over on the other side of the road. It's still so muddy, and that's groundwater coming up. Because they must have some shallow bedrock pressurized with springs from a higher point up in the mountains. All right, here we're starting to rut up. Here comes the bad spots. Bumpy and muddy. It's not the worst. It's not the sort of mud I'm not really worried about getting stuck in it. It's shallow mud. It's not related to mud season. It's related to the rain we've been getting. And look at that big rock that got shoved up by the mud season. That was not there over on the left last year. Frost heaving will lift up some substantial things you didn't even know were under there. And it was a colder than normal year, so that means the frost is going to be more active. It's nice to see the forest turn green. It's bumpy, but we're going to end the video here, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Boom. And this road's not supposed to have major trucking this year, so they're basically what smooths this out, those super heavy trucks, and that's not going to happen on this road this year, supposedly, so it's going to stay bad. Heavy trucks also pack it so much that rain has a more difficult time washing it out. But this is all pretty loose. From them grading it, then it raining, no compaction really. This isn't great. We got another hour of this. That's why no one wants to come in here. And it's only been a couple of hours. We actually just found a few hours ago a moose skull that I'm hoping survives out here for a couple of days. Okay, that thing has been decomposing for a while. It's really falling apart. I'm assuming. What is coming out of it? It smells like dead snails. Oh my gosh, that smells bad. I don't think that's from the moose skull. I think something's been living in there. I don't know. Maybe it is fresher than I think it is. That's a moose skull I want to bring home and put in my garden. Well, I better get my boots and bug spray out of here. I don't want that nasty, nasty juices going near it. We're going to have to spray out the back of the truck when I get home. And we're not going home today. We're staying out here a couple of days. That is disgusting. I didn't realize there was something disgusting in there, but it was underwater a while. I don't know if that's the moose's brain or what that is. It smells like dead snails though, so maybe that's what is. I don't know. I really don't know. It looks like it's been decomposing a while. That looks like a deteriorated skull we found when we were unclogging a different beaver swamp, but that smells so bad. All right, everyone, we're home with that nice beaver chewed stick and the moose skull. It's now a decoration to my garden, but whatever came out of that was disgusting. And back here in the bed of the truck, I'm now home. I just sprayed it out. That doesn't spray off with the garden hose, that nastiness that came out of that. I don't know if that was still parts of the moose or what that was. I'm thinking it's moose brain. Hopefully it rains off. That was disgusting. And look what we have down here in the crack in the tailgate. We got moose teeth. That was banging around a lot in there for the past couple days. It smells absolutely disgusting. It's supposed to rain a lot tonight, so hopefully it's gone pretty soon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.